Getting ready to color in our vintage coloring book. We'll wait for a few seconds to get people on. Okay. All right, we are here. Let's open this up on YouTube. Oh, turn that off. Okay, here we go. We've got our coloring book ready. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes to give everybody a chance to get here, but I'm so excited about coloring. It's like the perfect day to color too. It is rainy and pretty cold outside. It's like perfect autumn weather. Ted has joined us. Hi, Ted. Thanks for being here with us. You're gonna have to leave in just a minute, buddy. You're gonna have to leave in just a sec, my dude. Thank you. I think this setup is pretty good. If anybody in the chat would like to let me know if like they want this to be moved around a little bit or it's a little bit hard to see. If I did like, if we moved a little bit, would that be better? Let's see. Okay, dude, you need to go, my guy. Thank you so much. Hi, Maria. Oh, Ted. Get out of here. I know, I love you, but you cannot be up here right now. You cannot be here. Okay, I think this setup looks pretty good. So today we're gonna be coloring this vintage coloring book that I found in a thrift store in the States. And, good God, go away, Ted. It's from the 1950s. It's very exciting. I'm gonna turn this on, if that is gonna help at all. Here we go. Goodness gracious. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. We've got a few people here. Awesome. Hopefully Ted stays down there, and let's get started. So when I was in the States, I went to my favorite place in the whole world called Antique World. It's in Boise, Idaho. If you're ever in Boise, Idaho, I cannot recommend Antique World enough. You can find everything from like old VHSs to coloring books to, they had an Edison machine, like the things that have the like the wax cylinders and you can play music. It was like $3,000, but yeah, I wanted to get it, but I did not get it because it was $3,000. Oh, hi everybody. Hello, mini donut included. So, yeah, I got this book and let's just take a look inside of it. I made an extra copy. A PDF version is available if you would also like to color with me. It's digital, so you can print it out or you can use it on your tablet or something like that. I didn't want to ruin this coloring book, so I digitized it. And let's take a look in the original copy first before we get started on the coloring. The spine, she's seen better days, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't know what little human being had this before, but they colored a little bit of it and not the whole thing. And I think the premise is super cute because it's like the family have a little family meeting and it says, let's travel all over the United States. And it's so cute. They've got little like state brochures down here. And that's how it starts. And it gives some really interesting information about not all 52 states, not 52, oh my God, not all of the states. I think Hawaii and Hawaii and I believe it is Alaska that are not included in this book, because at the time of printing in 1955, Alaska and Hawaii were not states yet. So, yeah, that's why those two are not there. Alrighty. I think we're ready to color. Let's go. So I'm just gonna put this down here and open this up. So today we're gonna start with Washington and Oregon. So Oregon and Washington are our first states. So let's get started with Washington, because I do believe that's the first one in the book. And I've got just a few little fun facts that we can learn about when we're coloring our coloring book page. And Washington is a cool state. If you are a, what is it, Twilight fan, then you will definitely know all about Washington. So here's our coloring book page, and let's get started with some Washington facts. So Washington became a state in November 11th of 1889, and it was one of the later states. There was like a long period of time when there wasn't any states being turned into, or there wasn't any territories being turned into states. So this was like a, what? I think there was like a decade or so where there was no states being turned into states. And then all of a sudden, boom, Washington became a state. And as we can see up here, I think I need to move you guys a little bit like this. Oh yeah, is that better? I think that's better. Oh yeah, that's so much better. So yes, Washington became a state, and there's tons of volcanoes in Washington, which I did not know about. There's more varieties of volcanoes in Washington than any other state in the United States. I wonder if they have hot springs. If there's anybody who lives in Washington or has been to Washington, because I've never been to Washington State, let me know if there's any hot springs. Because there's a bunch of hot springs in Idaho, which is where my family lives. But I would be interested to know. Washington is also super famous for apples. They create the most apples in the United States. And they have 29 different recognized tribes in Washington as well, which is one of the most in all of the United States. Orca whales also love living, like they have a choice. They also live in Washington. There's like 4 different pods that have lived in Washington for a very long time. And the pods, orca pods, are labeled by letters. That's how you can tell the difference between the different orca pods, which is really cool. Okay. I feel that I may have made a terrible choice with these green trees. I think I'll make these ones a little bit darker. What else do we know about Washington? Oh, whale hunting is still legal for the Makah tribe. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's still legal, but I'm not sure what whales they hunt there. It's so rainy outside. How is everybody's day so far? What have you been up to? I would love to know. Let me know in the chat. I feel very, who is it? Who's that guy? Bob Ross. I feel very Bob Rossy today, which is lovely. Is this camera pretty stable? No. I do believe I need a better setup for this type of a thing. She's a little bit shaky, but that's okay. What else do we know about Washington? Oh, there's like a really big nuclear plant in Washington that, or not nuclear plant. Somebody was saying on Instagram that there is a place in Washington that kind of has a bit of a dark history when it comes to nuclear waste or something like that. I cannot remember what it was, but it has a bit of a dark history. Washington is just like an interesting state anyways. It's got so many trees. Obviously, if a vampire can like live there with his whole family for hundreds of years, you know, there's a lot of trees. I am obviously referencing Twilight if anybody wanted to know. Ooh, beautiful. About to do dishes and get ready for bed. Oh, hey, you're on the other side of the world. I know. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning for me here. That's why I have my cup of coffee. And sitting here. I'm gonna go close the window really quick because it is really, really loud. Hold on. Okay, so much better. So much better. There is massive amounts of construction outside right now, which is not conducive for any of this. So I was looking at kind of the history of coloring books and where they started, because the history of childhood is really fascinating. Like childhood and toys and activities for kids is a relatively like recent phenomenon. It's not a thing. It's not a concept that has been, you know, in existence for a long time, at least in Western countries. I'm not sure about other places, but the first coloring book actually appeared a lot like closer to us than you would think. I believe the first coloring book was only about 100 years ago. And there's another creator on here called Chloe Rose Art, and she actually found one of the first coloring books on eBay, and she bought it and she digitized it, and the lines were really, really terrible. So she like redid the lines on her iPad and things like that. It was really, really, really cool. And she talked about the history of that. And yeah, not a lot of coloring books were made back in the day because it was a relatively new concept, which is really cool. I just like to think about all the little kids back in the 1800s, like just being super excited about coloring books for the first time. And you don't really think about, or at least I don't really think about, you know, art supplies, like children's art supplies back in the day. Now, you know, you can walk anywhere and get like kids coloring pencils, kids crayons, kids paint, kids everything. But that really wasn't like, that wasn't a thing up until, you know, the last few decades. Because once again, childhood was not really a concept. Childhood really wasn't a thing until the creation of like child labor laws, which is sad. Because everybody should have a good childhood. At least that's what I think. And if you disagree, I don't think we can be friends. So I want to do a little bit more research on this coloring book in particular, because I don't know who the manufacturer is, to be honest with you. It doesn't really say much of anything. Oh. Whitman Publishing Company, printed in the United States. Oh, and it was printed in Wisconsin. So that's something that I'll have to look into. The Whitman Publishing Company. If they, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, cover of the book. I'm wondering if they like printed a lot of children's coloring books or just a few children's coloring books or what. I would love to know about that. Has anybody been to Washington? Or does anybody live in Washington? I would love to know in the chat. You can tell me. I've always wanted to go to Washington. I was not a Twilight kid when I was growing up. I was not into Twilight. So I had like a bunch of friends that like made little pilgrimages to Washington to do like the whole, because there is a real like Forks, Washington. They did the whole tour in Forks. And Forks really like leans into the to the kitschiness. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm just trying to make this a smidge more stable so that it doesn't keep wiggling around for you. Because that is bothering me. In the future, we'll have a better setup. But for the first one, that's okay. We're really channeling our inner Bob Ross today. No accidents, just happy little trees. So cute. Can you remember your first coloring book? I cannot. I do not remember my first coloring book. I was also thinking that it's really interesting that they had like a little educational coloring book. Because I am a teacher by profession, and I still teach. And the concept of having like educational coloring stuff, I would love to know the history of that. When did educational like workbooks or coloring books or things like that come into being? Oh, Jessica, in daycare, they would let us make copies of pages, so I didn't have a coloring book per se. But I did color a lot of Precious Moments pictures. Yeah, Precious Moments. That was a whole thing. I do remember those big-eyed doll thingies. They were so cute and creepy at the same time. I love that. Cool. Looks good. Loving it. Okay. The car. What color do you think we should do the car in? I'm thinking we've got this whole selection. Blue cars are always fun. Maybe a blue car. or a red car. What would work? Well, we're thinking about the car color. I will do this area right here. Looking good. So in the Chloe Rose Art video that she did about the super old coloring book, she was also talking about the history of Crayola. And I did not realize how incredibly old Crayola is. It's like an extremely, extremely old company. And they first started making colored pencils, I do believe, and then moved into crayons and stuff, which I think would be a fun topic to talk about, is the history of like kids' art supplies and the history of childhood in general. Ooh, I got outside the lines. That's okay. We can get outside the lines. Beautiful. Coloring is so meditative. I love it. Oh man, I really am so sorry about the shakiness of the camera. I did not realize the coloring would be so like intense. Alrighty, let's get Dad's blue jeans in there. Here, or would Dad wear khakis? Nah, he's a cool dad. He's definitely a cool dad. So he'll wear blue jeans. The invention of blue jeans is also really interesting too. They were originally made for like railroad workers. And Levi's, with the riveting, they made that riveting because the railroad workers and other like construction worker people, their pants just kept falling apart. Like the jean part was fine, but the connection parts would fall apart really easily. The places where like the fabric connected. So they invented those little rivet situations, which I think is so cool. Okay. Dad definitely is wearing loafers. 1000% wearing loafers. Ooh, snazzy Dad. Look at those loafers. And Son is also going to be wearing loafers. Everybody's going to wear loafers. Okay, and Mom's dress. I do believe purple would be an excellent color for her. Lovely. So when these, I gotta look it up now, because I'm wondering when did Route 66 open up? In 1926. So this is like peak Route 66 time. So it makes total sense that this family would be on this road trip through the different parts of the United States because they would be using Route 66, which is so cool. Because on Route 66, you have all of the different like roadside attractions, which I think is something that it's so cool. I wonder if it's unique to the United States or if there's other countries that also have roadside attraction places. So where like you could go and, you know, see the world's largest ball of yarn or go and see the two-headed cow. There's a two-headed cow in the museum in Idaho, in the Idaho State History Museum, which is, it always freaked me out. But it was so cute because I love cows. Cows are my favorite. Okay, homeboy, little buddy is gonna have very dark blue pants. Okay, I also want to know what the first roadside attraction was then. What was the first roadside attraction? Oh, other people. Lucy the elephant. Oh my goodness. So built in 1881 by the real estate developer James Laftree, Lucy is the oldest roadside attraction in America. Smithsonian describes Lucy the elephant as the oldest roadside attraction. What? That's crazy. What is Lucy? What state is Lucy from? New Jersey. Is Lucy an actual elephant? I need to see these pictures of Lucy. Oh my gosh. She's not a real elephant. She's just this like giant, terrible statue of an elephant. Oh my God. This is incredible. That's so funny. Yeah, she looks like a terrified, scared elephant. I love that. That's freaking hilarious. Well, now we know. We know the oldest roadside attraction now is Lucy the elephant. And then others came after that. There's so many different roadside attractions. There's like Car Stonehenge. There's the Devil's Cave, which is just like this cave system that people just started putting weird random stuff inside of it. There's like baby dolls' heads, and there's old CDs hanging from the ceilings. There's shoes. There's so much stuff in this just random cave that people started putting things in. I do believe that the Devil's Cave is also in Neil Gaiman's book, American Gods. I'm pretty sure it appears in that book. And they describe it, and it's just like such a weird place. But I would love to go. Someday I want to do a big cross-country old Route 66 tour. I think that would be so fun to see all the different roadside attractions. Because like, how else would you get people into your town, you know, in some places other than roadside attractions? I wonder what roadside attractions are in Washington. What roadside attractions are in Washington? Roadside attractions in Washington. There's the Hat and Boots, just a giant hat and a giant pair of boots. There's the Fremont Troll, which is a giant troll statue underneath a bridge. They have the world's largest egg. What is that? Why is America obsessed with the world's largest stuff? Why is that a thing? Ooh, Jessica, you did a cross-country trip from Anchorage back east through Canada. Oh my gosh, that is so neat. That's so cool. I love that. I would really, really love to go. There's so many cool things. America does like to overcompensate. That's so true. Hilarious. This dad is a cool dad, so I think we're going to give him a red shirt. What are some other roadside attractions in Washington? There's the overgrown ship hulk. What does that mean? Oh, it's basically like an overgrown, abandoned ship. Very cool. Oh, they have the friendly Bigfoot. They've got the Space Needle. I don't know if the Space Needle necessarily counts as a roadside attraction because it's not that weird. It's not super weird to have like a giant needle thingy in your city. There's the Muffler Man. Interesting. There's the Yardbird statue, like just a giant bird. Once again, America loving giant things. Oh, they have an international, they have an international mermaid museum. That is so cool. That is incredible. I mean, Japan has an island of peepees. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Japan does have a giant island of peepees. That is very, very true. Or not a giant island of peepees, an island of giant peepees. They have several peepee situations all over Japan, which is so funny. Because Japan is such a modest country, but then at the same time, you have like peepee islands and peepee festivals, and you've got like peepee museums. There is a temple that you can go to pray for, like, to get pregnant, basically. There's a lot of temples in Japan where you can pray, like, for a safe delivery, but there's not a lot of temples in Japan where you can pray for, like, to get pregnant. And so at this one temple where you can pray to get pregnant, they have, like, tree stumps that look like lady bits, and they have carvings that look like the pepes, and it's just so many reproductive organs all over this temple. And what you can do is you can buy their different talisman, their different, like, protective talismans, and pray for having a baby, which is very interesting. I'm quickly learning that talking and drawing at the same time is really hard. I keep losing my train of thought. But we're trying something for the first time. We'll get better. We will get better. I think I greatly overestimated or underestimated how much time one coloring page would take. I forgot how intricate coloring books are sometimes. I would love to make my own coloring book. That would be really fun. Adult coloring books, I feel, are very underrated. But, I mean, any coloring book can be an adult coloring book. It doesn't matter. Any coloring book can be for anyone. Yes. I know this isn't a Cadillac, but I'd like to think that this is this family's little blue Cadillac. Cute. She's coming together very nicely. Now I want to look up what that nuclear thing was in Washington. Washington nuclear. What was it? Come on, come back. Washington nuclear. Oh my goodness. What? Washington nuclear subbase. No. That's not what I wanted. What was the thing? Washington. Wow. Oh, the Hanford site is what it is. Okay, the Hanford site is a decommissioned nuclear production complex operated by the United States federal government on the Columbia River in Benton County, the United States of Washington. What? So it was established in 1943. Oh, and it was a part of the Manhattan Project. Oh, wow. That's crazy. If you don't know what the Manhattan Project is, it was basically, long story short, the project that the United States did to create the first nuclear bomb. And it was like so secret that the different bases didn't know what they were doing, what each other were doing. They didn't know about the existence of the other bases. Some bases knew about each other bases didn't, but nobody really like knew, except for the people at the top, what they were doing, like what the goal of this mission was, the Manhattan Project. And so it looks like Hanford is one of those sites. Wow. Oh, so there's like cleanup activities going on right now. So crazy. Oh my gosh, the town of Richland was established by the Manhattan Project. So why? I wonder if, okay, so do you know, I don't know if you've seen in, what is that, Oppenheimer? That movie, and how they made a small town basically in the area where they were making that, they're putting together the atomic bomb. So what I'm guessing is that that wasn't the only town that was put together specifically for the Manhattan Project. Because I would imagine you wouldn't just be able to be like, hey, people, we're going to need you to work on this project in secret for a really long time and go to an undisclosed location for a really long time without people being like, hey, I want to bring my family with me, or something like that. Or like you would need kind of a town in order to support that kind of project, no? That's what I'm thinking. It's crazy. We're going off so many rabbit holes right now. Formative years, World War II. Oh, okay, we're looking. So Richland was a small farm town until the U.S. Army purchased 640 square miles of land, half the size of Rhode Island, along the Columbia River during World War II for the Manhattan Project. What? So on March 6, 1943, over 300 residents of Richland, as well as those of the now vanished towns of White Bluffs and Hanford, just upriver, were evicted after a federal court order had condemned their properties for wartime use. What? So there were people living in these places, and then the military was like, nope, JK, we're coming in, we're taking your shit. Whoa. The Army transformed Richland into a bedroom community. What does that mean for the workers on its Manhattan Project facility? What is a bedroom community? So a bedroom community is an area that is primarily residential. What? No, hold on. This doesn't make sense. No, not a commuter town. Oh, a bedroom town. Oh, it's also known as a bedroom town. Oh. So basically, it was a place for everybody to live, to be close by to the place that they were making the parts for the bomb. Okay, so the workers who were working on the Manhattan Project would work over here basically and then live over here. What? So the population increased from 300 in July and August of 1943 to 25,000 by the end of World War II in August 1945. All the land and buildings were owned by the government. Housing and assigned to residents and token rent was collected. What? Everything necessary was provided, from free bus service to light bulbs, and trees were planted in people's yards by the government. Whoa. Most of the city was planned by Spokane architect Gustav Albin Persson and overseen by the Army Corps of Engineers. That is so interesting. Whoa. I wonder how many other towns are out there that, hi from SoCal. I wonder how many other towns there are out there that are old Manhattan Project towns. That would also be a really interesting topic to cover is the different Manhattan Project towns that there are, which is very much like, I've never played Fallout before, but my brother has, and when I was back in Idaho, we watched the Fallout series, and that definitely gives me like Fallout vibes, for sure Fallout vibes. That would totally be a fun field trip. That would be the funnest field trip. I would love to go on a different like Manhattan Project housing areas or town areas. Okay, we are getting there. We are having a go at this. I completely forgot to color while I was looking up these Manhattan Project towns. All right, let's color this swath of area. Oh, this is a road, so we're gonna do a little bit of a gravelly color, like a brown. We're gonna do a brownish over here. A gravelly color. There is, so in Idaho, there was also a nuclear testing place. So I lived in Boise, Idaho. My family still lives there. And there is a place called Emmett. And in the few towns above Emmett and like to the west, I forget the name of the town, but they did nuclear testing there, and they did not tell the residents about the nuclear testing. And so even today, that community has like just outrageous number of cases of different types of cancers, which is absolutely insane. The Manhattan Project was wild. Absolutely wild. And how like just massive it was. Okay, now I'm gonna Google that. Manhattan Project cities. Manhattan Project cities. Oh, there's a map. Get out. Absolutely get out of town. For sure, get out of town. This is crazy. Oh, what? There are so many Manhattan Project towns. Okay, so the big ones are in Hanford, Washington, Los Alamos, New Mexico, and then Oak Ridge, Tennessee are where like the big three are. Manhattan Project National Historical Park is where those like three are. But then there's a bunch of other ones. There's like a whole map system. Oh, this is really cool. So today, the towns that still exist that were built for the Manhattan Project are Los Alamos National Laboratory, and that seems to be it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the other one, Oak Ridge, that we were talking about in Tennessee, it was the largest one, and it had 75,000 residents. What were all of these people doing? 75,000 residents? What was going on? Whoa. What was happening at Oak Ridge that they needed so many people? I know we're not technically, we should have saved this for when we were doing Tennessee. We'll come back to this when we talk about Tennessee, but I just need to look at this right now because I'm like now on this rabbit hole situation and I need to know what is going on. So the era of the Manhattan Project in Oak Ridge began in the fall and spring of 1942 and 1943. Literally overnight, a multi-mission project with all the necessary buildings and infrastructure was raised, and its peak population bustled with 75,000 residents, including workers and their families. What? What? The project employed 82,000 workers from all parts of the country, each bringing their unique skills. Whoa, this is crazy. This is absolutely bananas. So wild. Well, I have a new obsession now. I need to know about all of the Manhattan Project cities. That's what I need to know about. My new Roman Empire. Yes, you're right, Marissa. It does sound like a cult city. Like, how did people not know what they were getting into? Like, all of your stuff was provided. Well, I guess, like, if the city provided for everything that you needed during World War II, when rations were such a big thing, you might just, like, not ask questions and, like, just be okay with it. Just be okay with not knowing what your city was doing or like what the reason for its creation was. I don't know if they were asking a lot of questions back then during World War II. It was such a wild time to be alive. And not just like because it was the Second World War, but also because of all of the like paranoia in the United States. So much paranoia in the United States over everything. Over like, I mean, this would go into the Cold War later, but like the fear of communism, the fear of Russia, the fear of, you know, Japanese people in the Japanese internment camps. There was so much paranoia at this time. So I'm wondering if they just were like, you know what, this is fine. Not going to ask any questions. Just going to live in this town that popped up overnight. I don't know. I do not know. Alrighty, we're doing good. You know what? I think today we might only have time for Washington and not Oregon also, which is fine. We can do Oregon another day when I have a slightly better setup so it's not shaking every time I want to shade in an area. But I feel like this was a good first run, a good first live coloring. I think we did great. So let's go up here and let's color these thingies, and then we'll call it a day. What colors are rhododendrons? What color is the rhododendron? What colors are rhododendrons? Because rhododendrons are the state flower. Oh, they're so pretty. Rhododendrons can be any color, but I am going to choose this magenta color because that's gorgeous. Do I have a magenta? I do. I do have a magenta. Nice. Excellent, excellent. Let's get this sucker colored in. So pretty. I wonder when state flowers became a thing. So I know in Japan, the chrysanthemum, which you would think it's the sakura, but the chrysanthemum is the imperial flower. The sakura, the cherry blossom, is the national flower, but the chrysanthemum is the imperial flower, which is very, very interesting. So we've at least had, you know, royal flowers and things like that for a long time. But when did states adopt this concept of having like state flowers? And does every state have a state flower? I would imagine that it would be like a requirement. Every state in this book, every state in this book has a state flower. So I'm answering my own question. What a silly question, Taya. No. Not a silly question. There are no such things as silly questions. That is okay. Not a dumb question. Not dumb at all. I wonder how you decide what the state flower is. Probably via vote. I do believe that rhododendrons, when I was looking up some Washington stuff yesterday, rhododendrons were chosen by vote. But I wonder if all of them are chosen by vote. That would be really interesting. I would love to know your state flower, whatever state you're in. In California, what is the California state flower? That would be cool to know. Okay, apples. We need a true red. Has anybody gone apple picking? Oh, California has the poppy. I love poppies. Poppies are so beautiful. Are they like, oh, California poppies? That's like a whole thing. Duh. Me. Oh, you've gone apple picking before? I've never gone apple picking. In Japan, there's, I've gone strawberry picking before, but, never apple picking. And I really want to go because apples are like one of my favorite fruits in the whole world. It's so fun. What is Idaho's state flower? Such a good question. Let's look it up. Oh, it'll be in the book. It'll be in the book. Where are you, Idaho? Idaho. It is the syringa. Ooh, that's really cool. Here, let me show you. This is the syringa. That's really beautiful. I'm excited to get to Idaho's because they're skiing at Sun Valley, and I've been to Sun Valley several times. It's fun. I like Sun Valley. It is really pretty. Oh, you've done strawberry picking? Pumpkin picking? Oh, that's so fun. I love the picking of any fruit and or vegetable is just so much more fun than like going to the grocery store and getting your produce. I feel that more people would eat their fruits and vegetables if we had to just go picking for them. I would, at least. I would definitely be, I would be into that so hard. That would be so fun. Yeah, going to farms is a really fun activity. Okay, we've got our pine trees, our apples, our cherries. We need a good wheat color because Washington is also very famous for wheat. Beautiful wheat. And now let's do our Cascade Mountains and Olympic Mountains. Beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous. Let's do our lumber, guys. What's a good tree color? Gosh darn it, I am so sorry that this is so shaky. So shaky. Oh, thank you for saying my coloring skills are good. I appreciate it. Once I get a slightly more stable setup, we can go like hardcore on the coloring, and I'll bring you in closer so that you can see better of what I'm doing. What color are fish? Well, I mean, that's such a silly question. What color are these fish? You know what? We're going to give you a little pink belly because I assume it's salmon. I assume there's salmon in Washington. And river salmon have pink belly. Plural. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Washington. Should we color in the state of Washington? Nice. Okay. Oh, you guessed salmon too? Awesome. No, these are not prism colored pencils. These are they? What are they? No. They are Tombow. So these are a Japanese brand of colored pencils. They are fabulous. I got them specifically for doing this. So yeah, I love them. They're really like smooth and juicy. If you can describe a color pencil as juicy, I describe a color pencil as juicy. They're super, super nice quality. I really love them. Okay, I'm wondering if Washington has a state color. What is Washington state color? Oh, okay. So Washington state color is blue for the lakes and rivers and ocean, white for the snow, and red for the apple and cherry crops. Okay, cool. So let's see. What do we want to do for that then? So we've got, oh my gosh, Washington has a state tartan? That is so cool. If you don't know what a tartan is, it's like it's the plaid for like often English and Irish and Scottish people have the like their own particular plaid, and that's called a tartan. So they have their own tartan. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, we're gonna do the tartan pattern on here on Washington. Oh, that is really cool. Okay, so the yellow. Okay. We're gonna do the yellow. So it has like lines lines of yellow across here. I'm wondering if every state has a state tartan. That would be really freaking cool. Okay. It's got these lines, and then it's got two big lines going like this. Okay. So it was colonized by the Irish and the Scottish. I'm wondering if there's a large population of Irish and Scottish people. Let's Google it really quick. Are there a lot of Irish and Scottish people in Washington? Ooh, give me 1 second. The doorbell rang. Hold on. Hi. Okay, we're back. We could have a impromptu unboxing. Okay, let's see. State symbols. Okay, now we have a blue around here. Blue around here. Okay. I'm out of breath from running up the stairs. Hi, Teddy. Sorry, my love. You cannot come up here right now. Hello. Okay. Oh, we were going to look up the population in Washington. It doesn't say. Oh, Irish in Washington. Okay. So in 1848 is when the first Irish people were starting to come to Washington. Very interesting. Oh, the Washington State Tartan was designed in 1988 to commemorate the Washington State Centennial Celebration. Very interesting. The Council of Scottish Tartans Society also affixed its seal to the official certificate of accreditation in 1991. Cool. Okay, very interesting. So it does seems, yeah, it does seem like there is some connection. Oh, excuse you. Excuse you, ma'am. No, thank you. Yeah, that's really recent. Yeah, mine is looking a little bit like the Swedish flag. It's not technically supposed to, but this is my best interpretation of this. Okay. Yes, Ted was here. She's been trying to get up on the desk for ages now. She really just wants to be up here. Okie dokie. So there's a little bit of red in the Washington State colors for the apples. So we've got some red lines here in the tartan. I wonder what inspired them to do a tartan in the centennial anniversary. That's very interesting. Okay, we've got some red going on here. This is really pretty. These colors are so nice. We have just been all over the place in this this live today. We've talked about the Manhattan Project. We talked about Twilight. We've talked about tartan. So many things going on today. We have just learned so much. Okay. Gorgeous. And then, what's our next color? Oh, I think I'm missing some places for red. So today we were planning on also doing Oregon, but we have definitely ran out of time to be able to do Oregon today, which is fine. Totally okay. We will do Oregon another day. The next time we do our live, which will be super fun. I have so many facts about Oregon. I put up a little poll on Instagram for like people who, you know, live in Oregon or like know things about Oregon. And I've got Ted. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you right now, friend. Thank you. Hey, please don't show your butthole to the world. You can come up here later. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm glad that you've had a good time. I've also had a good time. Oh no, my green. And I don't know where my pencil sharpener is. That's okay. We'll use another green. I've also had a really lovely time. This has been so good and like relaxing and so fun. It has been a little bit crazy these last few weeks. So it's just nice to like sit down and just color and just chat and hang out. It's so nice. I think next time we'll get some music. I think that'll be really, really fun too. And we'll definitely have a better setup. So, okay. And with that, I do believe that we are done. Here is the Washington State tartan. Not the greatest, but you know, we're trying. We're doing things. It's gonna be fun to see like how much I progress in my coloring skills, and it'll be fun to see how much you progress in your coloring skills too if you decide to color with me. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for hanging out. And yeah, we will do Oregon next time. I've got a lot of fun Oregon facts and we'll enjoy that and it'll be really fun. So thank you for joining me today. Love you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Drink your water. Have some coffee. Okay. Love you. Bye.